We are checking out two awesome baddies today. Let's jump right in. Quick look at the bio on RATAR-O. RATAR-O is a mutant commander and captain of the spaceship known as the Rat Star, a cunning military strategist. The Rat Star. I don't know if they'd go that far with vehicles, but it'd be interesting. It also says that he is most respected by Vultureman, and he seems to favor him in return. MONGOR! Man, I loved this character growing up, man. I just thought he was so scary and spooky, and he really was a beast, destroying Third Earth. And that was uncommon in cartoons back then. You know, you would see Cobra Commander try and fail. You would see Skeletor try and fail. But in Thundercats, they would just completely ravage Third Earth. So that was pretty scary. And MONGOR was a savage, man. Let's check out a quick piece of his bio. A vile demon, the demon of Third Earth, with a goat-like countenance. MONGOR was unwittingly freed from the ruined temple by Wily Kit and Wily Cat. And that's kind of like a similar way that Groom was released from his crypt underground by the whatchamacallits. And I think that's really cool, man. I like that whole underground tomb thing. It kind of reminds me of Conan. So pretty dope. Carrying his mighty scythe, MONGOR grew in size and power as he fed upon the fear of others. So he's got like a Freddy Krueger vibe. Love this figure. Cool bio. All right, let's open them both up and let's check them out. All right. The colors are equally as vibrant in person as they might look on camera. So that's really impressive. Tons of paint apps. In terms of my immediate impressions as I was getting them out of the box, I mean, you just have tons of paint apps all over the place. Really crisp. I don't see any glaring blotches jumping out at me. Right here, we're a little off the line on the gold, but that's just really nitpicking. The colors look absolutely beautiful. The dark blue, the lighter blue, really, really dope. These figures have pretty much the same articulation, I would say, as Motu Classics, for example. So you're going to get good posing range, but you're not getting hyper dynamic range. You're not getting super dynamic range. So, oh wow, this is super soft, this armor piece. I thought for sure this was gonna be stiff as hell. It seems to be glued into the shoulder piece. That's very nice, so soft, so soft. So you'll get your 90 there. You're gonna get your swivel at the shoulder, at the bicep. You'll get a little more swivel at the elbow. And you'll get close to 90. Let me see, can I get a little more? Yeah, you'll get 90 at the elbow, which is pretty impressive considering how much folding he has here on the sculpting of his sleeve. Really nice paint shading here on the hand. Very cool. The daggers look wonderful. I mean, the daggers look absolutely wonderful. On that side, we have the exposed port so that you can insert the magic effect. And that's pretty cool. You can do that to both daggers. And if you don't want the magic effect exposed, of course, you can put it the way I had it originally. So that's pretty cool. Close look at the other dagger. Here you see the exposed port on the other side. Blade magic applied on this one, just to give you some contrast to the other one. And if you want to see what it looks like with the magic effect on, look how cool that looks. That is really nice. Very, very nice. I like how this is done. Well executed. Good job. And the head, well, there goes that Ultimates no up and down in the head. Definitely has a lot to do with the sculpting there. And so that sculpting stops him from looking down much. There is no ab crunch, so that's going to stop him from looking down. But you will get him to lean forward. Sorry, MONGOR. You will get him to lean forward. And he does have a good enough center of gravity where he can sustain that pose. Very nice. Because everybody has to look down. You know, you drop your keys or you're looking for your chanclas or something like that. Very dope. I'm not sure if I showed you the swivel here. You got your split, no problem. Your forward back, so he can scoot. I don't know if I'd call it running, but he will be able to scoot his ass. Let's look at some of his other accessories. His other portrait. This is the eating, yelling, giving orders portrait. Nice touch with the, I don't know what the hell kind of teeth those are, but they look like fangs to me. So very cool. These are super soft. The paint is really well applied. Tons of paint on these figures. Tons of paint. He's coming with 2 additional hands. One that kind of looks like a pointing hand, but it could also hold something there. And the other one, I mean, they look similar, but they're not identical. This one has more fingers slightly opened up. And that's our RATAR-O figure. He was a must-have for me in my collection for my Thundercats villains, and I'm glad I got it. And let's check out MONGOR. This dude is a beast. The weight on him feels great. RATAR-O doesn't feel very heavy, but he doesn't feel or sound hollow. So very, very cool. But this guy feels nice and hefty. Quick look from the side there at his feet. Look at the eyes, how crisp that paint is. Beautiful, beautiful figure. This is pretty stiff molded plastic. The loincloth, nice and soft. The immediate impression with this figure when I saw him was the way they sculpted the waist and how it basically sits in a U cup here around this sculpting. And they did that to make sure he obviously looks like the cartoon, that sunken in torso cavity. But he has that swivel. You're not going to get wobble to either side. But he has a crunch. Little crunch forward. That's not too bad. And minimal crunch back. If you get the hips into it, he can go way back. If you get the hips into it to the front, he has more range. This design here, you see how this creates like a V at either side of his rib cage for the ab crunch? I'm not sure that I've seen that before. There, but here we've got that little V where the obliques wrap up and give you that additional sculpting. So that just seems really cool from a sculpting perspective and also design, because he looks so much like the character in the cartoon. I'm loving this figure. I'm just kind of like soaking it all in. The base plastic on this figure seems to be like this gray, bluish, brownish color, but then it has a really nice wash and shading applied all throughout. And it just gives him that nice two-tone look. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. Something that caught me by surprise with the sculpting on the figures was the hair. I like that it lifts up a little bit so you can get yourself a little bit of movement, right? Very nice, I like that. Minimal up and down. It is a stiff feeling plastic, almost like the sculpted plastic on the figures or the plastic used for the hands. It feels like the exact same plastic. There's a little bit of move to it here at the ends of the hair, but up here, it is really hard. So that's an interesting design choice that I don't know I've seen before. Interesting. Doesn't take away from the figure because I'm used to not having too much up down with my ultimates. You got a little bit of wobble for him and you got some swivel, right? It's gonna get caught at the shoulders, but still you can look left or right and you've got your swivel at the torso. So very dope. He is going to have that standard articulation. You're gonna get your 90, you'll get your shoulder swivel, your bicep swivel. You're gonna get just short of 90 there. We've seen the waist. We're gonna get probably close, okay. Decent split here. Forward back, excellent. So he's gonna be skating on you, boy. He's gonna be coming behind you. You better run fast. Then in the back, very nice. Exposed calf. We've got his tail. This is soft back here. Look at all that hair. I mean, that purple looks wonderful, man. Decent paint matches going down from the hard plastic hair So the sculpting on his body. Yo, I love this figure. This guy is dope. He comes with this badass scythe, and you see he has no problem balancing, holding it up. And the fire effect is removable. We're not doing that today. Let me extend the arm to see if he can still balance. Yeah, no problem. Boss, this dude is a big, big boy, bro. Very cool, man. Hell yeah, MONGOR. He comes with an extra portrait. This one has the whited out eyes. And of course, he's screaming and yelling as he's swinging that scythe, burning it, Third Earth down. And more of the same here. So this purple hairpiece, I wonder if this is all just one entire sculpted piece. Or maybe the face. I think the face is sculpted separately and then glued onto the hairpiece. And I think the same is true for the ears and the horns. I've never seen this like this before. The entire hairpiece is one hard plastic, and then you got like the face sculpted elements, the hair glued onto that. Interesting. I mean, it works. It looks wonderful. It looks wonderful. Tactile wise, it feels different to the touch. There's like no give in the hair. But sometimes that happens even with that rubbery style plastic that's used. You know, the hair doesn't move. So this is interesting. He comes with 2 additional sets of hands. These are kind of like more emotive, reaching out, but he could also strangle with these hands. The pointing finger, and this one can also hold a weapon or his scythe. And he has a fist. It's always nice to have a fist. Let's jump into today's themed comparison. I'm going to bring out just a couple of other villains that I have from the Thundercats line. Monkian, absolutely beautiful figure, wonderful sculpt. I truly believe that this is going to be an all-time classic remembered line. With or without Cat Slayer, with or without any vehicles, the figures by themselves are wonderful. Next up, I'll bring out Jackalman. And I think this was the second release. I don't remember what the gripes were with the first one, but it might have had something to do with like hair on the collar or something. I don't know, man. But I love it. I like the other issue also. I just don't need 2 Jackalman figures, you know. I also bring out Vulture Man. And this is another beautifully sculpted figure. It is awesome having so many villains from the Thundercats, and plus they look so freaking awesome. And next up, Hammerhand. And this is another wonderfully sculpted villain. I like that we're getting all those extra rogue villains. I want every single rogue villain, every single evil character, bad character. I want all of them in the entire show. All right, and last but not least, for today's themed comparison, I will bring out Groom the Destroyer. This figure got so much grief when it came out, but time has passed and I've interacted with the figure a lot, and I think it's an absolutely wonderful figure. Heck yeah, super dope. RATAR-O and MONGOR are 2 absolutely wonderful additions to my villain collection, and I'm so happy to have them in. Woo yeah! As always, everybody, thank you so much for coming out and sharing in the experience of collecting toys as an adult, and I hope you're able to keep coming back and share some experiences too. Until next time, everybody, thank goodness it's playtime.